Hello and welcome to Game Boy Advance Classics. In this installment, the game is Final Fight 1, released in 2001 by Capcom. This is a port to the Game Boy Advance of course, Final Fight, and this is a very faithful version to the arcade original, which was released in 1989. Final Fight is a game that was, in its very early days, going to be tied in with the Street Fighter series. This was, before Street Fighter 2. There was just Street Fighter 1 at this time, so this was going to be kind of a continuation of that. It's kind of crazy to consider that, back then, Capcom was not sure of their fighting game sequel, and they were going to churn it into like a beat 'em up series, kind of like what you'd think of Streets of Rage or Double Dragon, that kind of game. Now I don't know if my camera is picking this up or not, but the bottom text bar here has this crazy flashing effect that's really hard on the eyes. It's probably flashing too quickly for my camera to even notice it, but in case you guys do see it on YouTube, this is just what you see when you have the real hardware, so it's kind of crazy. So your basic storyline is that thugs have kidnapped the mayor's daughter, and they've, I don't know, the character looks like Blaze from Streets of Rage. Just how much these games borrowed from each other, I guess. Mad Gear's not exactly a very threatening name for a gang. Whoa, alright, so this is Final Fight 1, which is, of course, again, Final Fight. So let's play some of this. So you can choose between 3 different characters to play as. You can play as Guy, you can play as Cody, or you can play as Mike Hagar, the mayor who suplexes dudes. I mean, he's a bodybuilder, he's a mayor, he's a former Street Fighter according to this game, even though he's never been in any of the Street Fighter games as far as I know. How can you not play as this guy? In the original Super Nintendo version of Final Fight that got released in the early 90s, only Mike and Cody were playable characters. Guy was not in those versions. And in fact, Guy was introduced later in a sort of patched version that was called Final Fight Guy. So Final Fight 1 for the GBA is kind of a apology for that, by just having all 3 characters playable right from the get-go. So let's play as Hagar here. So while this game is very faithful to the arcade, the audio signage does suffer a little bit. Just like to endlessly suplex dudes. Yes, sword. Oh no, my sword. It's like Mike Hagar. I just love Mike Hagar here. He picks the dude so he doesn't even care. It's like, I don't care about you. I don't need to punch you, I'll just suplex you guys over and over. But of course, doing that is, makes the game a little bit more difficult than if you actually replay it properly. But the suplex has got to be the coolest move in any fighter ever. I like how when he dies, he just goes completely stiff, like he's a corpse. That's hilarious. Oh no, rigor mortis has set in. So go down to the subway here, or no? What is this? a little bit more simple than, say, Streets of Rage is, which is, you know, to be expected because it wasn't just a simple arcade game, but man, is it a whole lot of fun. And when this game came out for the GBA in 2001, it was very impressive to play, you know, a game from my childhood that I remember putting in quarters to play at the arcade, and playing that, you know, on my GBA. Even though this wasn't a game I ever bought, this was a game I had rented. And, you know, renting it was kind of just like the arcade experience, where you pay money and then you play it temporarily, you know? He'll suplex anyone, he doesn't give a shit. Nobody opens doors, you just beat them down. It's also pretty impressive for the GBA that there's so many giant sprites, but there's no slowdown. So here's something that's new that wasn't in the original version. In the original version, you just fight the boss fight, or you just start the boss fight, and you wouldn't have this beginning cutscene where they have to talk to each other. It makes more sense this way, but suplex everyone! Suplex! As this was a game, you know, from the era of just stealing your quarters, and that's pretty much what this game was designed for, the game is kind of unfairly challenging. You know, having Mike face these multiple enemies all at once with no real way to defend himself from so many foes all at once, even though, you know, these guys can be defeated rather easily. They just need to get a few good shots in, and then you're, you know, halfway through your height bar. So that's just how it is. It's just the mentality of the game design. Uh-oh, here's Hugo! Or, no, Underlay. So here's my continue, which is taken directly from the arcade. So let's throw in a virtual quarter and... yeah. Alright, now let's show you something different. I'll play as Guy here, because Guy the Ninja. Guy is much faster than Hagar is. But there's no suplexing. Check out how many sprites are on screen all at once. Crazy. unfortunately, Guy has very little defense, so enemy attacks do a lot of damage to him. Final Fight is a pretty simple game, but overall, it's not a bad game at all, and I think it's, you know, one of the games that stands the test of time as one of Capcom's greatest. It was ported around to pretty much every system that could handle it in the early 90s, including the Famicom, believe it or not. The Famicom version of the game was Mighty Final Fight, and it used a sort of super deformed art style, and wasn't exactly faithful to the arcade. It was sort of its own thing, but it was very similar to sort of other fighting games on the NES, such as Double Dragon by Technos. I'll be sure to do a NES Classics video on Mighty Final Fight sooner or later, but yeah, if you're looking for the best version of this game, Final Fight 1 on the GBA is not too bad. That's how you know you're a badass, when you punch 4 guys all at once. I'm never really sure if these punks that you're picking out are women, or if they're dykes, or what. One cannot tell because of their 80s-ness. The name says Billy, so I don't know, maybe that's a guy, but maybe that's a censorship, because this was Nintendo after all. The one thing that is very notorious is that the enemies and bosses in this game tend to have giant health bars, to the point where it's kind of ridiculous that they take so much punishment. There goes Guy. So we'll continue, and we'll now play as Cody. Cody from Final Fight would later be in all of the Fatal Fury and also King of Fighters games. This was a character that got sort of borrowed by a lot of the companies. SNK seemed to like this character design a lot. You know, just guy in a white shirt. There goes Andre. I liked how they gave the knife a health bar there, as I deflected it away from me. The game also features a suspend function that allows you to play the game, you know, in multiple sittings if you don't have the time to play through the entire game all in one sitting. This makes it great for a portable experience because, you know, sometimes you only have a limited period of time when you're playing a portable game. And you don't have to start the game afresh every single time that you hit the reset button, or hit the power button, I should say. Those Simmons. 2P. Nice name. I died. Alright, well, that will be at the end of this video now. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions about Final Fight 1 for the Game Boy Advance, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below, and yeah, hit that like button, because hitting that like button lets me know to make more GBA videos. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys next time.